using the same format as a variable, a function, or an object. Remember, our basic rules are: the first character cannot be a number. You cannot use a reserved word. And you cannot use spaces. Also, be sure to remember that the name of the array object is capitalized. Array. Okay. Interpreter? Compiler. The JavaScript interpreter uses numbers to access the collection of elements, aka data, in an array. Each index number, as it is the number of the data in the array's index, refers to a specific piece of data in the array. Similar to an ID number, it's important to remember that the index numbering of the data starts at 0, not at 1. So, if you have 8 elements, this first element will be numbered by 0, and the last one will be numbered by 7, because the summation of the numbers that will be stored there is 8 if we start by 0. But we have 8 elements. Elements can be of any type: character, string, integer, boolean, or even another array. So by this one, we ensure and we got an information that in an array there will be sub-arrays likely, like we can do it and we have no problem doing that. An array can even have different types of elements within the same array. Like in the same array, in the same column, let's say, each row can have different type of elements. For example, the first row by the first index, which likely going to be 0, will have type of element as variable, and the second row will have a type of element that will be, for example, boolean, and the third one, for example, will have a type of element which is character or string or whatever, or a constant. Each element in the array is accessed by spacing its index, placing its index number in brackets. My car. 4. My car is the name of the array, which is the name of a column, as we explained earlier. And 4 is the number or index that is more likely going to head us towards the 5th element. Even here is 4, but we are going to get the 5th element of the column or array, my car, because we start by 0, as we said earlier in this chapter or this paragraph. This would mean that we are looking for data located in the array, my car, as I just said, which has an index of 4. Since the number of an index starts at 0, this will actually be the 5th index, which is the 5th element, as I said earlier. For instance, the following array as an example of var, and we set var, and we notice that whenever we want to set or to assign or initiate a variable, we likely going to start by just inserting var or var rather than setting its type. Like, for example, we could put var my car equals to true, so this will automatically be assigned to a Boolean type of variable without setting its type in the assigning new array as we have done in Java, var mycar new array. So mycar is the name of the array. This var is just to assign this one, which is an array, and we set new array. This is likely common in programming in most programming languages, as we have seen in Java and Python as well. And these are the elements of the array, and we space between them just by comma and double quotations. For example, this type is a string because it's enclosed inside and double quotations. Here we have another element, and so on. And we close the array elements, and we enclose all of the array elements inside of parentheses, and we end the array command with semicolons. Alert mycar 4. So if we type this in the console of our browser, for example, this will generate a sub or a small window on the top of our main window as an alert that will alert something, and this thing is an array element, and this array element is the element that has the index of 4, which is the 5th element of our array. For example, this one 4. So if we start here, it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if an alert window pops up, it will indicate or show us truck as the 4th element, or the element with index number 4 in our array mycar. The data point with an index of 4 would be truck, as I said earlier. In this example, the indexes are numbered as follows. These I just mentioned now. When creating loops, it's much easier to refer to a number than the actual data itself. When creating loops, yes, yeah, that's obvious, because if you're looping a function or looping an action, it will be much easier to set the conditions of the loop itself, because you cannot say or command as when we arrive truck, close or stop the loop. It's better to put a counter that counts from 0 to 4, and you set a condition that says, for example, when the loop or the counter reaches the number 0 or is exactly equal to 4, stop the loop simply. So when creating loops, it's much easier to refer to a number than to the actual data itself. That's obvious. The size of the array. The size of an array is determined by either the actual number of elements it contains or by actually specifying a given size. For example, we're not always will have a full array. For example, we can have an empty array, or empty by elements and not by containers. You got it? For example, there will be an array that have 10 containers, but only 5 of them are filled. For example, as we have here, we have these ones, but they could be others, but they haven't been set yet. to have a value.